A boy from Anambra will score over 300 in JAMB examination. He will not get admission. Somebody will score 100 from Kebbi State. He will enter university, and then before you know it, he will end up as a permanent secretary or as a Supreme Court judge.
Right. All right.
No, that kind of thing does not, go well for national development. This is the question. We have to return to that conversation when we merit matter in Nigeria.
Well,
guys, I cannot even lie. Abati and Rufai of Arise TV finish work for this video. Now this kind of thing we dey talk, now this kind of thing we dey like. Make our medias, our televisions and radio follow the talk this thing where everybody they see. The Igbo bias in this nation is becoming too much. Guys, have you people seen Tinubu's appointment list? That is what they are talking about. 90%, if not more than, all of them are Yoruba. They all comprises of Yoruba people. What about South? What about Southeast? How many Igbo men they say if at all any of them they? Guy, this is too much. What is all this? Everybody don't they see this? Everyone then they talk and see now Yoruba government we dey. Shebina only Yoruba Tinubu can they rule now. What about Igbos? Why is it that Igbos they can never allow Igbos to have any office at all in this government? Now Yoruba they rule now. Now Yoruba government we dey now. No be Nigeria again. Somebody called it Republic of Yoruba. Hey guys, it's too much. It's too much. Everybody don't talk. Say this thing don't too much. Tinubu, what are you doing? What do you want to turn Nigeria into? Anyway, even Rufai said that if he's not careful, this is going to bring the Second World War. Yes, the second Civil War. I mean, because now this kind of thing they make people they talk say, since you did not include me, we are going to fight this thing. Now this kind of thing they bring katakata. Anyway, guys, I'm going to allow you to watch the video and see what these guys' beautiful video that they have to say.
Apologize for the errors in the list and promised an updated version. Rufai, I know that you saw this Sunday Diary's tweet that was trending. I believe that he has deleted it. Let me just read some parts of the tweet that he put out, because he also, published the lists as well with this tweet. Sunday Diary wrote, President Tinubu and appointments. On this issue of appointments by the Tinubu administration, it is important to state that President Bola Tinubu is a detribalized leader. His antecedents before he even became president speak to this fact. As Lagos governor, President Tinubu populated his government with competent hands, both from within and outside Lagos, not minding which tribe you come from. People tend to isolate new appointments so far made by the president to examine them with a tribal lens, but it's too early to conclude that appointments are lopsided. Tinubu has barely completed 2 years in office. There are plenty more appointments still coming. Well, Sunday Diary, we are still waiting for that list. But let me just, reel out, the numbers of the list that he had published. According to the geopolitical zone, I believe there were about 29 from the southwest as well. Then we saw 25 people from the north central, 24 from northeast, 35 from northwest, 22 from south, and 15 from the southeast. We saw that, that was some of the outrage we saw. I mean, because it did show that, some sort of lopsidedness. But I saw a lot of people from the northwest, Vimbai. In the meantime, before I come to you, a report from the Sun newspaper claims that the federal government has decided to disregard the 70-30% ratio for career diplomats and political appointees in the recent list of ambassadorial nominees. The report quoted a source from within the ministry, stating that the list is currently undergoing screening by security agencies or political figures, such as former senator representing Kaduna Central, Shehu Sani, former aviation minister Femi Fani-Kayode, and former presidential aide Reno Omokri have been reported in the media as part of the nominees undergoing screening. I believe that they said that the source also expressed concern that the move prioritizes political interest over career expectations of diplomats, potentially leading to inadequate representation for the country. That is the source from, the Sun newspaper quoting. I mean, we did see those names. They are not verified, but we saw those names and people are screaming, Reno Omokri, Femi Fani-Kayode, and all of that. Your thoughts on the stories?
Well, there's a lot to unpack, but let's begin with the issue of federal character that we touched on earlier in the program. And I think all of this is about, shall we call it empowerment? Because when you look at, it's about trying to create representation. So the principle of federal character is about ensuring that there is fairness in the representation of every geopolitical zone when it comes to the decision-making bodies of this country. Of course, we know the antithesis of this is where we are coming from. We are coming from a place where there has been disunity, where there's been marginalization. Various groups feel that way. So this is something that was supposed to bring everybody to the table, create unity, and create a sense of inclusion for all involved. Now, this particular issue raised by Senator Alin Dume, he's not the first person to raise this issue. This has been raised several times in the past. And of course, when you look at the list, people are saying that this particular tribe, the Yoruba tribe, is dominant. So even if you break it up and you say Southwest and so forth, Southwest and into the various geopolitical zones, they're saying that, well, the majority there are still Yoruba. That's number one. Number two is that there were a number of names missing. From there, I believe the most recent appointments from NNPC were not reflected there. There's a number of names that people are saying, like you said, Femi Gbajabiamila was not there. Yes. So how can we say that this is a robust list of the political appointments that have been made? Now, I understand the strategy at play, because when former President Buhari was criticized of the same thing, his advisors also did the same thing. They released a list that stated each of the geopolitical zones represented. Now, in all fairness to him, when we looked at that, because remember President Buhari was often accused of always prioritizing the north, the north, the north. But when you look at the breakdown, it was distributed across different tribes in the north. Is that a justification? Well, that's one of the arguments. But for this, people are saying that we now wait for the final list, because this was supposed to vindicate you, but it seems you now created more hot soup for yourselves. People have the statistics. Let's see what they will share for us now. 2 years down the line, federal character is supposed to be implemented from the beginning. Another challenge is the fact that federal character is not a quota. So the Constitution doesn't say that this is the number of people that has to represent each place. It speaks of fairness. So maybe that's something that needs to be looked into until we get to a place where there can be that equality in representation. Now, 2 years without ambassadors is absolutely just shocking. Yesterday there was some criticism around, not just yesterday, throughout this week there's been criticism around the president being in France for a working visit, and the fact that we don't even have an ambassador there, and then reports saying that, well, the French president himself is actually not in France at the moment. He's here somewhere in Africa attending to some business. And we just ask ourselves, all of this in the absence, who is representing Nigeria? Who is holding fort for the nation at the moment, where the world is at a massive precipice? Conversations are being had. Diplomacy is what's leading right now. But we don't have anybody to represent us in these high-level conversations at the moment. So many things to unpack there.
We are waiting for Sunday Diary's updated list. This representation that we are asking for. And we are seeing this story from the Sun newspaper. Your thoughts?
So see, this is my mindset as regards federal character. It should not just be about where you are from. It should also be about the competence of the individual. And if you look hard enough, across every area, over 774 local government areas in this country, we have competent people, we have standard people. The accusation that I've also made is the fact that, see, it's tilted more towards the Yoruba tribe. I'm a Yoruba man, I'm telling you this. And I want a level of fairness. See, you will look at that list and you'll see a lot of North Central. Like some of these NNPC appointments recently made. They will claim they're from North Central, but they're from Yoruba ethnic group. And that's just what it has become. When people start to have that perception that, oh, it's a Yoruba government, that's not fair. And a leader must absolve themselves from all of this. See, let's go back to the Civil War. These were exactly the concerns during the Civil War. Federal character has always been a big issue. We all even set up a Federal Character Commission. We must be able to have a level of balancing, and that must start from the perspective of the leader. The leader must be able to incorporate many parts. It has to be said. Mm-hmm. Please correct me if I'm wrong. During Olusegun Obasanjo's time, did we ever have a need to say it was a Yoruba-based government? No. In fact, the accusation against Olusegun Obasanjo there was that it was a Southeast government, an Igbo government, because he embraced a lot of people from the Southeast. So that's what we are talking about. And you see, I do not like the vituperations and the jerking reactions from the presidency, because when you make any comment, they think you are attacking them. No, we want the best for the country.
Right.
They should stop this constant case of Jakboroism. Jakboro fidgeting.
What does it mean?
Jakboro means you wiggle. You are so quick to respond. No. And Ali Ndume was apt when he said, we know that their foot soldiers are going to come at me.
Yeah.
So please, let us remove that. Secondly, I have not gotten the empirical list. I don't want to comment based on not having empirical facts.
All right.
But if the feelers I'm hearing as regards the quality of persons being considered for ambassadorial position, Nigeria has become a joke.
All right.
It is dancing wiggle, 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 wiggle.
All right, Rufai, you and your words. You know, my dad asked me once to ask you, Rufai. You said Werekpe. What is Werekpe? He wants to know.
Means
Werekpe. When you criticize them, it affects them like Werekpe. Dr. Abati, your thoughts?
Look, what we're dealing with is a problem at the heart of the Nigerian national question.
Yes.
It speaks to the fact that we're not yet a nation. We're a country whereby everything is looked at from the prism of religion and ethnicity. Every Nigerian that gets to power at the center plays the politics of proximity, plays the politics of what Matthew Kuka calls the Maronization of power, and does not also feel safe with people from other parts of Nigeria. You want your own people, thinking that your own people are the ones that will make you safe. That's why, go and check. When they appoint a chief security officer, ADC and all that, they usually pick people from their areas. So, and this problem has been there. It was part of the reason for the Civil War. Decree number 34 of 1966, the unification decree introduced by Ononsi. People say, oh, this was supposed to help Igbos because, an Igbo man was there, and they looked at the government and they said Igbos were dominating everywhere. We have not recovered from that root cause in this country. That's why I have argued elsewhere that this federal character that we're talking about, yes, there is the whole purpose under Section 14, sub 3 of the Constitution is about equity, fairness,
that's it.
Diversity.
That's it.
But also, there should be an emphasis on competence, ability. The president of Nigeria, in dispensing patronage, I said over 5,000 positions that can be dispensed by the federal government of Nigeria. It is up to the president to make sure that there is fairness, equity. But should we get to a point in this country? That's the question. That's the question. When we should say there should be meritocracy.
Yes.
I'm sitting here, wasting volumes of saliva every day. But in this same country, you have touts in important positions. You have Division 3 persons in important positions.
Yeah, I was told Agbero is tout. Agbero.
No, my definition yesterday, I said street tax collectors.
This is tout. Touts are street tax collectors.
No, well, I didn't use the word tout. I said street tax collectors.
Go ahead.
That's the elegant that I used. So this is this country where you have Division 3 people in important positions, just because they have godfathers, just because they come from a particular part of the country. This is a country where a boy from Anambra will score over 300 in JAMB examination. He will not get admission. Somebody will score 100 from Kebbi State. He will enter university. And then before you know it, he will end up as a permanent secretary or as a Supreme Court judge.
Right, all right.
No, that kind of thing does not all go well for national development. This is the question. We have to return to that conversation when we merit matter in Nigeria.
Well said.
That was a lovely message from Abati and Rufai Oseni. Truly, Tinubu needs to do better. Like, he is not even thinking about what will people say. He just, like, at this point, APC, they don't even have one single shame anymore. Like, they just do anything. They don't see Nigerians finish, because to them, if you talk, you just go and rest. There is nothing you can do. That's why they can just be able to wake up one morning and decide to fill all the government positions with their tribesmen, forgetting that there are so many other regions in this Nigeria, yet they are the ones who has been clamoring for one Nigeria up and down. Guy, please share me your opinion in the comment section, like and share our video, and subscribe to our channel. Okay, I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.